well. It's, you know, what we can do legally right now is work out in groups, and we have limited hours as far as baseball-related skill. Pitchers have been throwing a lot of bullpens. We feel like that the pitchers did a good job over the holidays, sticking with the plan, building their arms up. It's not like they just come in here and we start. They've got some downtime in the fall, but really around the 1st of December, they start building up, and really it's about 6 weeks out that they've been throwing now, and plus the bullpens here. And so when we get on the field as a full team Friday the 25th, the plan was to scrimmage that day, but due to the weather, it's a little chilly. We're going to just move our scrimmages back. We'll have a light, regular practice, maybe a shorter practice in the cold weather outside on the 25th. That's planned right now. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we will scrimmage. It's supposed to be a lot better, so we just pushed everything back, and then we'll try to get back on track next weekend, and then the next weekend, and then that leads us into opening the season. And we just really tried to get our weekend starters, projected weekend starters, online on track by pitching the day that we're thinking about pitching. For example, Campbell's going to throw on a Friday. We'll throw him Saturday, then we'll throw him next Friday, and he'll throw him the next Friday, and he'll be ready to go. So, position player-wise, a lot of swings, getting in shape that way. Obviously, we've been lifting and doing a lot of running and fielding anything we can. Thank goodness for that indoor facility over there. Although we won't have access to it this weekend on Friday and Saturday due to track, and that's fine. That's the agreement. When it was built, they had a few weekends that. So we'll have it again on Sunday, but it's gone good. The only injury is Caleb Bolden. That injury happened after fall ball ended, before the Christmas break. It wasn't thrown very well, and I think he had some irritation for a while. Was throwing a bullpen and basically walked off and said, "My elbow hurts and we got it looked at." And he had Tommy John surgery a couple weeks later. When they got in there, just giving you some detail, they said this has been hurt for a long time. Had scar tissue in there, and he ended up completely tearing it, which sometimes that's fine. You're going to get it fixed, and we'll have him back next year. He'll be ready to go for the 2020 season. Other than that, we look like we're in pretty good shape.
Is it too early to tell if Ezel's going to be able to play in the field opening day, or will he be at DH?
I think he'll be able to play in the field. There are some limitations there, obviously. Cold weather hasn't helped any. That shoulders, they tightened it up, and they tightened it, and pretty good. So routine ground balls, turn double plays, fine. Going to his right. A little bit of an issue making that throw right now, but and maybe a relay throw, and we're going to set up our defense differently on relays with him out there, which we will work on this weekend. So he looks good though, fielding the ball, turn double play, plate disciplines, hitting, obviously in batting practice. Looking forward to getting him out there in a game situation this weekend.
Is it still he and Nesbitt who you're looking at second
Yeah,
base?
Nesbitt will play over there. Those will probably be the two.
Dave, what's the plan with Connor Nolan at this point?
Well, Connor's going to pitch on Saturday. He'll be second. I think he'll throw right behind Campbell on that side. He's looked really good in his bullpens, and it's kind of interesting. Coach Hobbs comes in here, new coach, so he's fresh mind, fresh opinion on everybody. He really likes Connor. Let's just put it like that. So Connor's got good stuff, very mature, strong. We think he's going to be a really big part of our pitching staff.
Have you and Chad worked out a schedule between spring football and baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a floating schedule, and what I mean by that is we just have to make sure we don't double up on anything where he's lifting with them and lifting with us. And Connor has to manage it. He has to make sure he speaks up to either us or football. But Coach Morris was real good about it. He came down here and we met a couple weeks ago about it, and he brought their schedule. It's even to the point of if Connor is one of our weekend starters and he's supposed to pitch on Saturday, and it's the same day as the, red-white football game, then he might not play in the football game that day. So that's kind of the way it was worded. But that'll have to be earned by Connor. He'll have to come in here and show us what he can do. But we've had freshmen pitch for us a lot, and we've got one right now that we feel like it has a really good opportunity to start on the weekend for us.
Behind Campbell, who would you say you're looking at in the weekend?
Yeah, just kind of was just mentioned. I would say Cole Ramage has looked really, really good, and I would say Patrick Wicklander, left-handed freshman, his bullpens have been outstanding. I mean, I could list 4 or 5 guys, and the first weekend we played 3 games, then we play again Thursday, Friday, Saturday at USC. After that, it really picks up where there's 4 games a week, sometimes 5. We just need to make sure we have it fairly squared away by the time we play Missouri. And, we'll see. We feel great about our bullpen, but we're stretching some of those guys out. Someone's going to end up starting that maybe came out of the pen last year, and it'll be fine.
Just with expectations, because coming off the season you did, you got fans just thinking it's going to automatically go to Omaha. Just kind of how do you handle all that with the team and just knowing what's out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always high expectation around here, and we talk about it all the time with the players. But I've said many a time, at the University of Arkansas, you're not just playing for your teammates or yourself or your family. You're playing for the whole state, and so you brings a little more to the table. I don't know. I told the players in our meeting before we went home for the holidays that we were going to have to earn everything we get, and that we wouldn't be ranked in any poll. Well, I was wrong there, and I just felt like when you lose 6 position player starters and 2 out of 3 weekend starters, that there's still a lot to be proved, and I still feel that way. I do think that we're overranked for what we have returning. I think we have good players, and I think that we'll be good, sometime during the spring. But I don't know. We just work. We just tell them just to work, and we haven't panicked and start stressing them out. And with the workload since they've got back, it's a long season. I want to make sure we're good the second half. So we're pacing them a little bit. Just trying to get ready for opening day.
Where did you envision Bolden fitting in on this pitching staff? And then he had about a quarter of your returning innings back, and you didn't have a whole lot back.
Yeah, if you look at last year, if you had asked me that question the first half of the season last year, I would have said we're getting him ready to be a starter as a sophomore, and we thought that. But his outings weren't real good for him about mid-season on. His velocity went backwards. He wasn't, his breaking ball kind of disappeared, which he had a good one. So it kind of tells you what happened. He got hurt last year. So, if in a perfect world, that kid comes in here and he just does what he did in the fall of his freshman year, early spring of his freshman year, I would probably be telling you right now he's probably one of our 3 starters. But we didn't see that from the second half on. We were trying to figure out what was going on there, and basically, we know now.
Dave, you got a new pitching coach, and it's late happening, so he's just really getting to work with these guys, I guess. What have you seen? How has that mesh been? I
think the mesh has been good because it's a lot of the same philosophy that Coach Johnson had with analytics and different things, and the way you evaluate pitchers and how to develop pitchers. A lot of the same philosophy. And that's one reason I wanted to get Coach Hobbs here. And the personalities are always different, but he comes across a little more serious, and the players are getting to know him, and it's been fun being around him. And I feel like that once they got to know him, they knew that he had their back, their best interest, and he's all about getting them better, and he's been fun to be around.
Yeah, I guess is Casey pretty entrenched at shortstop, or what are you doing on that side of the infield?
Yeah, if we started tomorrow, Casey's going to be our shortstop, and I think Kinley will play some there if I need to give Casey a day off, or DH and just rest him. We'll see how it goes, or if there's an injury. I feel like we have 2 really good shortstops for this level. I just feel like that Casey's range is a little more. right now than Kinley. Kinley is probably that guy that's just gonna field it and throw you out, pretty consistent guy. But I just think about this year, I'm also thinking about 2020. You got your shortstop back that played short the year before. I think it just makes sense if they're both pretty close to the same.
And then you got Kenley at third, and
Yeah.
then
And then we'll let everybody else battle out for second, and, you know, that'll come down to is Ezel healthy? You know, is a guy like Jacob Nesbitt, is he ready? Is he gonna hit at this level? He'll kind of be our utility man, Jacob. He can play short, he can play third, and he's gonna get his time.
When you lose a pitching staff like you lost, how good is it to have Martin, Kerstad, and Fletcher there to kind of be a core in your lineup?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we lost some good pitchers, obviously, a lot of innings, but we got a lot of bullpen innings back. We lost a lot of starting innings. We lost a guy that went 14-0, may never happen again. Left-hander's pretty good in Murphy, and both of them older guys, smart guys, figured it out, and came out and put together just tremendous year. That's why we played so long in Omaha. We just pretty tough, and things didn't bother those guys. And so to have three of our top hitters back is big, because you can build around them a little bit. You hope a guy or two can pick it up and help those guys out, because if not, they'll get pitched around a lot. So we're trying to figure out exactly how to set that lineup up that, you know, can produce runs. And I'm not gonna stack all those guys together. We're gonna mix it up a little bit and make sure somebody that's pretty good threats hitting behind one of them. And, you know, it might take a while to figure that lineup out as far as the order. As far as who's gonna be in the lineup, you know, I could narrow it down to 10 or 11 pretty quick.
Is Cops a guy you think could start, or see him come out of the bullpen?
You know, again, you're talking a guy that's 15 months out from Tommy John surgery. He had some really good days in the fall once he let it go. He had some good bullpen sessions when you're kind of going, wow. You know, don't know exactly where he's at as far as building that pitch count up, if he's going to be ready for that. You know, the first weekend we play in February. But, you know, that could happen as the season goes on.
There was talk of Cronin stretching out some, but are you settled, or has he settled his mind on
Yeah.
the pull? And who do you think goes in there with him?
Yeah, he's a 1-2 inning guy for us when he's really good. Obviously, you've seen him when he just throws 1 inning. You probably don't get him if he's fresh and you throw 1 inning. If you throw him once on the weekend and you use him 2, you know, that may be it. But we feel good about some other guys there. If we only throw him 1, we could probably throw him another inning or a big hitter or 2. You know, obviously last year we got stretched out at the end, kind of in a bind, and that's just the way it is. I mean, we know our personnel a little bit, and it's just a matter of, you know, every now and then you're gonna have to use him twice on the weekend. It's just the way it is. But we're not gonna try to start him. If somebody wants to try to start him, they can do that at the next level when they have time to experiment.
So you said Nolan could stuff, specifically more than 1 pitch?
Oh, yeah,
velocity?
his velocity's, you know, his velocity's in, it's 90, 91 right now. It can be more, it's gonna be more. It's just give him a little time. Really good breaking ball. I guess talking to Coach Hobbs, and you guys could probably talk to him about it as well, is that basically what he's asking him to do with his bullpen, he's doing it. You know, once the fastball in, he's throwing the fastball into the lefty, or where he's throwing the breaking ball down, he's throwing it down, and he's basically executing pitches, and that's what pitching's all about.
Catcher, what are you looking for between Opitz and Plunkett?
Well, those 2 guys are gonna catch, you know, all the time, and, you know, I wanna keep them both fresh. Obviously, I think, you know, somebody might take that job after a while where it's there. You know, if you look at just the throwing part of it, you know, Plunkett's as good as anybody in the country. As far as receiving, catching, and blocking, Opitz is as good as anybody. He's got a quick release. He doesn't have the arm strength as the other guy, but so they both bring something. You know, Opitz is a guy that can handle the bat, hit and run. You know, we're going to use him when he's up. Plunkett's a guy. He's actually a very good sack bunter, but he can hit home runs. But he's not going to probably hit for a high average. It's hard to say. I just don't see that. I haven't seen that enough. I don't know if Opitz will hit for a super high average, but I think he can advance runners and get runners around and, you know, drive them in and make contact. Zach's going to swing and miss a little bit. So we'll mix and match, and there may be games where, you know, we pinch hit for them. If they're not hitting, we bring the other guy in or whatever. I think there'll be some cases where maybe a pitcher likes to throw to one guy more than the other guy. So maybe at the beginning of the season, that's what we do, just so the pitchers can get comfortable. But they're both going to play a lot.
How has McFarland developed? I know he had mono in the fall. How's he looking?
He's been looking really good. As a matter of fact, he's kind of changed his hitting approach where he's not so jumpy and what I call guessing too much and swinging the balls out of the zone. Looks great in batting practice. Obviously, when they start throwing the ball 95 miles an hour and then they're spinning it and throwing changeup, we'll see how that approach works. But I like what I've seen, really staying through the middle of the field instead of pulling the ball all the time. And, you know, he's one of the strongest guys on the team. He can hit the ball at the park anywhere. We don't need him to pull the ball all the time. We need to just take what he gets and hit. But defensively, he's gotten a lot better. He's listened. He's listened to me. He's listened to Coach Thompson, and I think he's been more coachable this year than ever. But he's been told that defense is huge, and he's put a lot of time in there.
What do you see out of Vermillion and Kostichuk this year?
Two guys that have done extremely well since, you know, they've got back. You know, Vermillion didn't pitch all fall. We rested him. He had a tremendous summer. Was projected one of the top players in the league coming out of there, and he comes in here with a little soreness in his shoulder. We said, okay, we'll get this right. And he's throwing the ball 94, 95 miles an hour right now. He'll pitch this weekend. He really never threw out of the windup here, but he is now. Coach Hobbs has been working with him on his windup, which, you know, that's good to see. He could be a closer, he could be a middle guy, spot guy, he could be a starter. I could say the same thing about Jacob Kostichuk. The issue with him over the past couple of years is he wasn't very consistent. He's find himself behind in the count 2-1 all the time, 3-1. That's not good at this level. He's been throwing a lot of strikes, and his velocity is getting up there. He's actually put on a little weight. It's been a battle for him. You know, we make the kid eat. It's incredible. It's almost a running joke. But he actually went home over the holidays and came back 7 or 8 pounds heavier, thanks to his mom and her cooking. I don't know, but it worked. And we just want him to stay strong like that. You know, we could start him. We can use him out of the bullpen. We'll just see how it goes. And I think you'll see him get a start here and there, and you'll see him at the other end too.
Is Goodhart your DH?
Goodhart, he will DH. He will play left field, and he will probably play some first base. If you just talk about guys batting practice since they've got back, there's been nobody on the team that's hit the ball better than him. It's been fun to watch.
I guess in the left field, is it Franklin? Started on the roster in front of me. Is he your left fielder?
He has a great opportunity to start right away. He kind of earned that spot late in the fall. I started him against UALR. I think I started him against Wichita State. He's gotten better, bigger, stronger. Now he's, you know, physically, he doesn't look like a freshman. Really good outfielder. So, you know, if we're not 100% sure in left, we'll just go with the better defensive guy a little bit. But he will also, you know, he's got a great opportunity to be our center fielder as a sophomore. So we think that much of him. You know, if I needed to rest Dominic, or because Dominic's had a little bit of a sore arm, so we're kind of keeping an eye on him. I think came back throwing the ball too hard. You know, if that ever happened during the season, I could DH him, and I wouldn't have any problem putting Franklin out there in center and letting him get some experience. So I would say if we started tomorrow, he would probably pick up where he left up in the fall and probably be starting.
How many tickets are you rounding up for the deal tomorrow? Do you have a speech?
What deal is that?
You're going into the Sports Hall of Fame. Do you think you'll get emotional, or what is that?
I've tried to make sure that I won't, you know, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's a big honor, kind of unexpected, to be honest with you. And then the way that's all set up, you know, normally, you know, there's 7 or 8 people going in. You get up and speak for 5 minutes, and they're trying to get you off stage. They need to get to the next guy. I almost feel like I should speak a little longer, so I plan for that. And you know, I'm excited about it. We've rounded up a few tickets, and honestly, I was worried about people showing up, but I guess it's going to be okay. So I'm excited about it.
just to clarify on the starting, you said Connor would follow Campbell. You meant like the next day or
No,
immediately?
so we'll go Saturday. I'm not sure exactly what time I've got the first pitch. Is it 1 o'clock? I don't know. Yeah. So Campbell will be lined up against someone else, and then I think on the same squad, unless we make a change, Connor will throw second on one of the teams, is what I mean. So he'll be pitching probably in the 4th inning. We'll probably only go the first few scrimmages this weekend, about 6 to 7 innings of scrimmage.
So your speech will be over before the scrimmage.
The speech will be over before the scrimmage because the scrimmage is Saturday and the speech is Friday.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
It's kind of a joke.
I hope so. That was a bad joke. No, all right. It won't be that long.
Bob asked questions, you know.
Yeah.
When you look at last year and what you guys did, I think you picked up more fans last year through that run than maybe you had. I mean, just building off of that and the momentum you guys got going to the World Series.
Yeah, we need to continue to play well this year. You know, you can't, and that's not our mindset. Oh, we had a couple good years, you know, take the year off and try to get better for the next year. That's not the way it works. It's, you just got to keep it rolling. And, you know, I think about all that's going on in our program right now. You know, we've had a pretty good recruiting year with the 19 class. We've got some pretty good young players in here. We've got some young pitchers that are going to get on the mound, and that's always, as a coach, kind of reassuring. You can kind of see the future a little bit if nobody gets hurt. Our 2020 class is as good a class as I've ever recruited, I've ever been a part of, if we can get them here. I mean, those kids, there's a lot of those 20 kids, and I can't mention names yet, that are going to start as freshmen and play a lot. And we've got a project going on right now, meeting with architects, and meet again, I think, on the 7th. They're going to have some different drawings for us. It's exciting time. I think Hunter Gerchek, our athletic director, has a vision of what he wants to do here, and he's all about baseball, and I've known that from the first day I talked to him. And we need to keep the momentum going, whether we play in Omaha or not. We need to keep playing well, and yeah, we picked up a lot of fans. I feel like, I mean, it was incredible up there. You know, talked about it 4 or 5 times in the off season. Our fans were second to none, and I've been told that season tickets here, they've sold more season tickets than they ever have. Matter of fact, I don't even know if they're selling them anymore. So it's all good. So now we need to go out there and play well. And we've got some really good home series with, you know, some of the teams that are ranked pretty good: Mississippi State, Ole Miss, LSU, just to name a few. And so there'll be some good games for the fans to come out to watch.
Did you feel the need to do anything to help the guys get over the heartbreak of how it all ended, or is it just let it kind of naturally? We haven't
really, I haven't really talked about it with them, to be honest with you. You know, some of the guys are gone, obviously, and I feel like that they feel like I feel. That's the way, how I feel about it is probably the way they're feeling about it. It happened, we were so close, you know, but you got to move on. It's like anything else. Time will heal it to a certain point. The disappointment, I'm not disappointed in that team, no. I mean, I think about that team and what they did, it's incredible. So I think it's really about, like anything else, it's how you look at it. And these guys are young. I see them in there, they're always smiling and bouncing around. And I think that it'll be something that they learn from and they'll talk about forever. But we can really heal it one day if we can win that thing. So, you know, that's our goal.
Okay. All good. Thanks.